Okay, folks, I promised that I will send a list of what you need to make this thing work. And so here goes. The very first thing we need is a glass of orange or mango juice. We'll just keep it here. A chilled one. Make sure it's a tall glass. It's very important, and I'll tell you why later on. Uh, the second item you need, I cannot put here on the table. You need a television that you want to convert to a smart TV. It doesn't matter what size, it doesn't matter what make. The only important thing is it has to have a HDMI jack or a VGA jack. HDMI jack is that end that looks like this. It should have a jack that HDMI cable can go into. This is a HDMI cable. And we use this directly if it has a HDMI cable. But if it doesn't and it has a VGA cables ports are like this. If it has this at the back of the TV, you can buy an adapter, HDMI adapter, from a VGA to a HDMI. But if it has a HDMI, you don't need this. So this is optional. You need this. Your TV must have a HDMI or a VGA deck. And if it has only this, you have to buy an adapter. If it doesn't, then you don't need this adapter. We'll use only HDMI cable. The second item that you need is an SD card. Yes, a simple SD card, like the kinds you use on your phone. The small micro SD card. This going into this. You need this, and preferably an original one like this SanDisk. Don't buy the cheap Chinese ones; they fail. You need minimum of 16 gig. 16 gig. This is 16 gig. The one I did yesterday is a 36 gig, 32 gig, and it's the bigger the better because you need something big enough to hold hundreds of movies, hundreds of videos, hundreds of pictures and sound and all that. The next thing you're going to need is a laptop. You need a laptop, preferably one that you have full administrative rights on. Don't go and use those corporate computers that can't be used over the internet. Most of them have restrictions from your administration, admin office, preventing you from installing and doing unnecessary things. So you need one that you have free internet access on. If you have a private VPN or you have a private firewall behind your router, you'll be able to fix that if you have administrative privileges. Then you also need an internet access to the internet, full access to the internet, not a limited one. From what I've seen, you need high bandwidth and a router of a computer that can connect to the internet. It's what's going to make your smart TV work. So you need that. Then another thing that you need that is optional is Velcro, two-sided Velcro if you have that. If you don't, it's optional. You don't need it. We need this to hold up what we'll do because we'll stick it behind the television and so that it stays there permanently. But you can take it off when you want and put it back when you finish yours. But this is not very important. If you don't have this, you can use anything. You can use blue tack or masking tape. We'll show how you use that. Okay, another optional thing that you need is a wired mouse. Initially, when we set up what we will, you might need to, while setting it up, control it somehow or use a wired mouse. You can also use a wireless one if you have one of those. We'll use it as a remote control eventually, like the one I installed. And finally, for the pierce the resistance, The most important thing you need is a microcontroller like this one, a Raspberry Pi. A microcontroller like this one, a Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi. You need a Raspberry Pi because this is what we're going to configure and run a program on that will turn our TV to a smart television. What? You don't know what a Raspberry Pi is? Whew. A Raspberry Pi is a microcontroller. In fact, if you don't know what it is, and then you're in big trouble. I run an annual coding bootcamp where I teach little children how to program these things and make it do so many things like toys, robots, run programs, do any kind of stuff that they want. Everything around us, from microwave oven to gas cookers to heaters at home to a television to whatever, all have microcontrollers behind them. And programming these things is what makes and drives technology. This is a very small, handy computer. As tiny as it is a full-fledged computer that can do everything your laptop can do. This big laptop, this guy can do almost everything that he can do at the same speed, pace, but probably not the same processing power. But this is all you need. A Raspberry Pi. It could be a Pi 0, a Pi 1, a Pi 2, a Pi 3, or a Pi 4. We'll set all this up. This particular one is a Pi 3, and this is what you need. I'm going to write the link for you to see what a Raspberry Pi is and how you can fetch one. This particular one is less than 2,000 naira and is all on the internet. You can buy it on eBay or you can buy it from Microcontroller DIY and Tinkerers Hub, even in Nigeria. Okay, so that's it. The very first step would be to for me to grab this orange juice and take a sip while you go and fetch all these things. So I'll wait while you're fetching them and we'll start our process. So step 1, sit back, drink my orange juice while I wait for you. Thank you.